Hey everybody, welcome to the program, WRSA Radio. I'm your host, G1. As always, hope you're having a good week. It's been a good one for me. Been kind of busy, but I'm getting a lot done. So anyway, I'm going to jump right into the point of the show today because I don't have a whole lot really for the show. And I got to be somewhere in a couple hours. So let's get right to it. Last night, or early this morning, however you want to phrase it, at midnight, the clock expired on the NFA. The NFA is effectively dead. The court decision from last week that has effectively put the nail in the coffin of the National Firearms Act went into effect at midnight as the clock to file an appeal expired. The DOJ under this administration elected to not appeal the decision that was passed down that rendered the requirements for completing a Form 4 and doing an additional background check for suppressors to be unconstitutional. So, what does that mean for you? It means that if you live in, I believe the number's 35 states, and more importantly, this and part, you are a member or a customer of or to the parties involved in the lawsuit, that you no longer have to complete the Form 4 for the purchase of a suppressor. There was some confusion about the inclusion of SBRs in this, but according to Silencer Shop last night, those are still required to complete the Form 4 due to the GCA, which I'll get into in a second. So, if you live in those specific 35 states and you purchase from Silencer Shop and possibly a couple of other retailers or distributors, and or you are a member, I believe GOA was involved, I believe NRA was involved, so you'll have to look at the details of this. They will not require the completion of a Form 4. You'll be able to purchase, and then they'll ship it to your local gun store, and you'll go into that store, and you'll fill out a 4473, just like you would a pistol or a rifle, and you'll walk out with it that day. Now, some people will kind of balk at the 4473. Everything in time, okay? The 4473, you need to think of that as a means of, it's a transfer document. So when a firearms, a FFL holder, a shop receives a firearm, they have to log it into their what's called the book. They have a book of firearms that are in their possession, and to get that transferred out of the book, so they sell it to you, they have to complete a 4473. That is the record, the document of the transfer of that firearm from their holdings to you. So that is done with a 4473. They stay in the possession of the FFL, although ATF does come out or send requests to see the documentation if there's, it's involved in a crime or something like that. But at any rate, so you will have to do a 4473. Now notice I said 35 states. Why is that? Well, 15 states still require some form for or a notification to the state attorney general, or they just ban them outright. And the only way to do that notification is to complete the Form 4 and file it with them. So that will still be the case in those 15 states. Like I said, or those states may be one of the ones that has some kind of ban or other heinous regulation on them. So you're going to have to check with your local laws, your local state, your local gun store. They'll know the deal. They're getting caught up on it this morning like everybody else is. Unfortunately for me, I happen to live in a state that has a state requirement, so barring some kind of intervention from our AG or governor, we will still have to complete those forms. I believe that we have the notification to the Attorney General. Anyway, it's a good day for Second Amendment freedom, that's for sure, but the work isn't done. So back to the GCA, that's the Gun Control Act, of which there are a few, but the one in particular I believe is the GCA of 68. And if I recall correctly, it has some additional regulations for SBRs and short-barreled shotguns above the NFA. I'm not a lawyer here, so don't quote me or anything. This is YouTube law advice. It's not I'm not giving law advice. Go do your own research. But there are layers of regulation here that we're dealing with, and those GCA regulations are what apply to the SBRs. And apparently some of those state requirements rely on that GCA language for their requirements for SBRs and suppressors. So that could be a potential barrier for you in your particular location. It might not be terribly easy for, say, your governor to step in and say, I'm going to executive order this, we're going to no longer need that, or whatever. That's just something you'll have to look at, a little bit more in depth depending on where you are in your situation. On the whole, this is a great win, but it's incomplete. We need the legislators to step up and crush the NFA completely. At this point, it's been neutered. Anyway, we have no tax and now no documentation for most of the country on suppressors. We have no tax on SBRs, and we also have pistol braces as well, which pretty much kneecap the whole SBR restrictions. We have FRT triggers that render the ban on machine gun, fully automatic, as moot, as everything that can have an FRT is getting an FRT or a super safety, which, just on a side note, from my personal experience, it is an absolute joy to shoot an FRT and combine that with a suppressor. It's probably one of the most fun days at the range that you can have, albeit a very expensive one. My advice, and having done this, is binary or FRT trigger with something that shoots .22 long rifle and get it suppressed, shoot subsonic ammunition through it. It's like a laser made of lead. It's that impressive and that fun. Anyway, at this point, the regulations are effectively meaningless. So my suggestion to everyone is to go out and contact your congressperson, both federal as well as your local state legislators, and tell them that they need to act now to bring your local state law into compliance with these legal rulings and end any additional paperwork requirements for the citizens of your state. This is something that those legislators may have to do. It may have to go through legislation. Or if you find out that, hey, you know what, our governor can executive order this, or AG has the power to waive these requirements, do that. Petition them, reach out to them, pester them, and make them enact that, put that into play until your legislators can act and take it off the books completely. There's no reason for this really unconstitutional law to begin with to be on the books. They should do their constitutional duty and step in and remove this. And they have the legal backing to do it now. This is not a unilateral action on their part. It'll be something that they're doing in compliance with court rulings. Anyway, this is a huge win, but you still have to do your part, and let's carry this thing over the final finish line. Anyway, that is all I have time for this week. Like and subscribe. Come see us over on Gab. Nice crew in the mothership. Hit us up on the merch store, and I'll see you on the next episode.